Okay, so I know we've done this before, but I just want to make sure you see we have a good video of it. So if your blade needs redone or you need a new blade, in the drawers there are little cases that have extra blades. You can just take one out. The old one goes in there. This blade is good. It looks rusty, but it's actually really good. You can always do a test on a piece of scrap paper to see if it's cutting straight. If you need to change the blade, you lefty-loosey here. This comes out. There's a little slit right there that it goes back into. And then you righty-tighty. Make sure it's nice and tight. You're gonna cut with this edge here down, and you're always gonna cut pulling, never pushing. I've seen people like try to push and do weird things. Okay, so to get a nice clean cut, we want to have our crop marks, and the crop marks are there to guide us for where the ruler is gonna go. I like the steel rulers that have the cork. You always want to have a steel ruler. You never want to use plastic rulers for this. And I'm right-handed. So my right hand is going to hold the blade, and it's going to have the scrap paper on the outside. And then the good part of my design is on the inside where I'm not cutting, so that if I slip, I'm not going into my design. I don't want to cut like this, and then if I mess up, I've gone into the artwork. So I'm going to take my left hand and line up the straight edge against the hatch marks here and here. Those little hatch marks, those trim marks, are there to hold the ruler. And then I'm not gonna cut the whole paper. I'm gonna cut starting in the trim mark and pull and stop in the other trim mark. And you'll see that it's still connected. If I cut it all the way off, then I lose my trim marks, right? That makes sense, right? And so then I'm gonna rotate and do the next one. When you're cutting, because I know sometimes the cutting is hard for people, you wanna hold it kind of like a pencil, and I'm gonna have it against the steel ruler, and I'm kind of pulling against the ruler as I pull down. So I'm not pushing down, I'm pulling as I'm kind of pushing gently down. So I go down and pull towards the left against the edge as I push down. You don't have to push really hard, and if you want to, go a second time to make sure you went all the way through the paper. Don't move this, because then it won't ever really line up perfectly again. And then you have that one. Always make sure that wherever you're cutting, you're not cutting towards your fingers. You don't have your fingers right there. You don't want to slip into those. Keep your fingers out of the way. Make sure somebody else's fingers aren't back there. And you'll notice sometimes I check it to see if it's moving freely, to see if I got it all the way. And I just keep rotating and going around. So think of it like you're cutting out a window. If it doesn't go smooth, that means you need a new blade. If you cut it out and it's like jaggedy, or you see little, pieces of paper, that means like it wasn't a clean cut. So if you look here on this one, she missed the marks, which is okay too, but the paper was like snaggy. So this was probably not a good blade, or she just didn't have a good feel for it yet. So that is your goal when you're cutting with trim marks. Whenever you're done, please put the blades back into the drawers